Kids make us feel tenure, right? If you don't know what tenure means, look it up. They give us a sense of belongingness, a sense of home when we come home to kids, if we have them. Coach Greg Adams likes to call them lovable liabilities, right? Because that's what they are at the end of the day. They are liabilities. And you love them. Now, at my age and in my position in life, by the way, I'm 22, it doesn't make sense to have kids. So a lot of you guys might come in here and say, oh, Zeke, you're going to change your mind later down the road when you actually have kids, or when you get older and you settle down more in your life. You're going to change your mind about having kids. Maybe. Or maybe I'm not. And here's my reasoning why. Even though we want to feel that sense of belongingness when we come home, even though when we want to feel that tenure feeling when we come home to our kids, even if we want to leave that legacy behind to our kids after we die, because let's admit it, fellas, we all have to go someday, one way or another, from this earth. Death is inevitable, and the quicker you accept it, the quicker and the easier this world becomes yours. Because as soon as you make friendship with death and you accept it, knowing that it could happen at any time, okay, now you don't have to live in fear. When you live in fear, you're not living. You're just going with the flow. And I would rather be dead than live like that. Anyway, so even though we want to leave our legacy behind and this, that, and the other, we have to understand what the kid is going to go through. We can't be just selfish and have the kid just because we want a kid. We want to give the kid the best life it can have, at least better than our own life if we had a shitty life, right? Which brings me to my next point. Why on earth would you want to bring another human being in this shithole of a planet? Sure, there are tons of places in this world where it's not as big of a shit show as it is in the United States, as it is in the Western civilization, sure. But I don't want to live there. And again, I'm making this video, I'm reminding you guys, I'm making this video to tell you guys my reasoning behind why I don't want to have kids as of right now. Because I don't know what the future holds. I don't know if the marriage laws are going to change. I don't know if we're going to keep living in this shithole for the rest of my life. I don't know what's going to happen 50 years from now, 20, 30 years from now. Society might change for the better of us. So I can't speak for that right now. But with all things being held equal and considering today's time, I'm making this video for myself. Your reasonings might be different. So remember that, keep that in mind before you jump in my comment section. Anyways, me personally, I don't want to live anywhere besides the West. Why? Because of the living situation. Even though it's a shithole when it comes to interacting with people, even though it's a terrible place when it comes to actually making something of you as you grow older, because there's tons of opportunities, or there are opportunities, but kids just don't have the right guidance to get to a better position in their life. Even though the father figure is being erased from this society, this is still a much better living situation. The West still has a much better living situation than the eastern side of the world. People are dying because they can't afford to buy food in some countries, and the eastern side of the world, in the poor countries, in the third world countries. Go to India, fellas, and just see just see that the place where they take a shit, where they piss, where they shower, is the same place that they're taking water to drink from. That's how people are living in the world. I don't want to live anywhere else like that. Also, I don't have as much freedom in those countries, in those eastern side of the world countries, than I do in the western side. Why? Because those countries are mainly ruled by their culture, their religious beliefs. freedom. And also America, I think, is probably the only country in the world who still has the most amount of freedom of speech, despite of all the censoring that's going around. So just think about how the rest of the world is treating their people when it comes to freedom of speech. I think it's hate crime in some countries if you speak what you want to speak, if you say what you want to say, if you speak your mind. So I don't want to live in those places. Also, security is nowhere as good as it is in the West. And we can bring examples day in and day out, talking about how shitty the security system is, how crappy cops are here. But fellas, trust me, I've been in a third world country. I know from first-hand experience how much crappier and more corrupt the security is there. I know I'm gonna die someday, but I don't wanna face that death when I'm in my 30s, when I'm in my 40s, just because of the environment I'm living in. So that's why I want to live here. Now, if I'm keep living here, and I give birth, or my wife or the woman who I'm sleeping with, the woman who's bearing my kid, which is my next point I'll get to in a bit, gives birth to a daughter, to a girl. I have a daughter in this Western culture. How do you think this daughter is going to turn out, fellas? Let's say I know how to be the perfect dad. I don't give her cell phone till she's actually almost an adult age. I teach her all the red pill stuff. I teach her her value and when she should be in her prime and when she should cash in her value. I teach her all of this. The importance of virginity. I teach her all of this. But at the end of the day, I can't hold her in a cage and lock her up in my house. She's going to go outside, right? Let's say I don't even take her to public school where she's going to meet other bad kids. Let's say I even take her to private school. You don't think private school kids are any you think private school kids are better than public school kids? Really? Think again. Let's say I even homeschool her. She's still going to go outside at one point or another. She's still going to get her phone at some point in her life, maybe when she starts making money herself. And then she's going to get on social media. And then what's going to happen? What's she going to see on social media? What's she going to hear from her friends? What's she going to hear about from her friends at school that the rest of these chicks are doing? So I can't stop her from being a hoe, 100%. I can only advise her. I can only guide her. I can't force her to do anything or to be anything. I can't put pressure on her to do anything. And I can't live with the thought in my head that my daughter turned out to be the exact same type of woman who I make videos about on this platform. Why? It's not an ego thing. It's the fact that I know that the person who I brought to this earth is going to have the same shitty lifestyle that the rest of these hoes are having. And she won't notice that till it's too late. That hurts a parent more than anything else when it comes to their kids. Sure, there are some egotistical parents out there. But I honestly do believe, in my opinion, that most parents want the best for their kids. Now, they might not be able to give the kids the best of themselves, but they want the best for their kids. And I can't live like that because I know and I'm seeing what the rest of this world is turning out. And my daughter is now just another data point on the chart. Just another statistic on the chart. I don't want her to be like that. I want her to have a happy life where she can pair bond with somebody. And I know she cannot pair bond with anyone if she's a former cockhopper. More than 2 guys is too many, in my opinion, when it comes to long-term dating or marriage with someone. The only 3 girlfriends I had in my entire life were with virgins. All 3 of them were virgins. And how did I know that she was a virgin? I even made a video about this. How to know she's a virgin. Go check it out. So, there's that if I have a daughter. Right? I can't. How do you think a parent would feel? I'm gonna pull up a little bit because the sun's hitting my face. How do you think a parent would feel when they see that their daughter is living the thought culture, shaking her ass on TikTok, posting pictures showing her ass and titties on Instagram? How do you think a parent would feel? A parent with red pill knowledge. Blue pill guys don't count in this. Even though the dads know that the daughter shouldn't act like this, the dad can't say shit because of the mother. He's stuck. If he says too much, the mother has the power over him to where she can just leave him and take the kids with her and raise the kids how she wants them to be raised. And he's going to lose everything. Now let's talk about if I have a son. What's the guarantee that I'm going to be in my son's life from early on? What's the guarantee my son is not going to turn out to be a feminist or a feminized beta cuck? Because he's going to school as well. He's seeing the education system. He's going to be taught the same things the rest of these boys are being taught. Teenagers are being taught. What's the guarantee he's not going to turn out to be a simp? I was lucky enough to find the red pill at such an early age, fellas. That doesn't mean my son will be. There's no guarantee on that. You can't just rely on luck and roll the dice and pray for the best. That's not how I want to live my life. I take calculated risks, not uncalculated and hopeless risks or hopeful risks. That's how a stupid man, a foolish man lives. What's the guarantee my son is going to actually make it in life? Where he's going to be financially stable? Where he's going to be a manly man? Where he's going to be able to be a leader, or even not a leader of a whole pack, but just a leader of his own life? What's the guarantee he's going to be able to think outside of the box? See, for a woman, raising a woman as she's growing older, she doesn't have as much pressure to perform in life as a man does. What's the guarantee my son's going to be able to take all that pressure and not end up going down the wrong way where he's either abusing drugs to relieve that stress or committing suicide because he can't take it anymore? Because I've been through it all. I have had suicidal thoughts. I have abused drugs and alcohol before. So I'm speaking from personal experience. What's the guarantee my son is going to be able to come out of that healthy? And again, it's not an ego thing that I couldn't teach my son to be a better man when I'm making red pill content myself. It's the fact that my son's life is going to be over. It's going to go to shit. And I want my son to be happy. I want my son to be successful, just like I wanted my daughter to be happy and successful. But the way how a man becomes happy and successful is different than how a woman becomes happy and successful. And that's why I will be giving both my son and daughter different education. My son will have a different way of being raised than my daughter would. And what's the guarantee that that won't create any clash if I have multiple kids? What's the guarantee that the woman I'm having my kids with wasn't a former cockhopper? You don't know for 100% sure, right? What's the guarantee? You don't know 100% for sure what her past was like. You can only assume. Even with the help of Red Pill, even with the help of the video I made, How to Know If She's a Virgin, with all those points that I talked about on that video, even with the help of that, you still don't know for sure, 100%, if she is or if she isn't a virgin. She can always hide it. Women are very good at hiding things from men. And I'm not going to ever have a kid with anybody but a virgin. I already told myself that. So what's the guarantee I'm going to find a virgin after I'm successful in my life, which is probably not going to be till my mid to late 30s or even early 40s. What's the guarantee I'm going to find a virgin in that age, and that girl is in her 20s, almost 20 years younger than me, who's going to find me equally attractive to want to have kids with me, who's not mentally damaged, who didn't buy into the feminist ideology. Because 20 years from now, because I'm 22 right now, so when I'm 42, I might think about having kids. 20 years from now, you don't know how much worse the society is going to get when it comes to society believing in the feminist ideologies. You don't know that. So even now we're seeing it's like almost finding a needle in a needle stack to find a virgin woman. So what's the guarantee I'm going to find a good, virgin, wholesome woman 20 years from now? There is no guarantee. Why can I not have kids with anybody who's not a virgin? Because, fellas, it's been scientifically proven that women keep other men's seed in her, even long gone after the interaction. His sperm is in her spine and is behind her eyes, behind her earlobes, in her tits, inside of our body. It's not all of it gets erased. So how do I know that this kid who she just gave birth to has 100% my DNA? See how sick that sounds? Can you go to bed with that thought in your head? That my kid might be somebody else's, or my kid might have somebody else's DNA mixed in it? I didn't make this up, by the way. Go do your own research about this scientific thing I just said. Now, I know some of you trolls are going to come in here, and out of everything I said, you're only going to argue about this. I have no hope for you, for those guys. If that's the only thing that you're taking out of this video, after I made all these points. What's the point? The woman who I'm going to have the kids with knows how to be a mother. Not just knows how to be a good wife, but also knows how to be a mother, where she can raise the kids right when I'm not home, when I'm going out to bring the money home. See how many uncertainties are out there? And you want to bring another kid in this shithole of a place? Hey man, do what you want to do, okay? If you think that you actually have your life together and you know how to be the perfect father, then go ahead and roll that dice. Who am I to say what you should do and shouldn't do with your time and with your money, right? But that's just the answer for myself. So, in that point, when you want to leave a legacy behind, why not just find something else to do to leave legacies behind? There's been plenty of men in this world who left legacies behind without having kids. What I'm doing right now is a form of that, actually. I'm educating more and more people. But hey, that's the life I want to live, okay? And as I already said, sure, there's a chance if all the cards are right. And also, the woman who I'm going to have the kids with, how do I know that I'm not going to have to just keep her as a baby mama? How do I know that I'll be actually safe enough to marry her and actually keep her with me instead of going to these other routes where you leave her and the kids in another country? You don't bring them here. There's all sorts of roundabouts to have kids in today's society, right? Where the man is still safe. But that's not the best situation for the kids. Again, you have to understand that it's not just about your pleasure that you have kids that you can look at when you come home. The first and most important thing that should be considered when you're considering having kids is the kid's future, is the kid's life, not yours. Don't be selfish like that. And the best situation for kids to be raised in is where the family is together, in the nuclear family, when the mother and father is together. What's the guarantee that will happen in today's society, in today's laws? That's my question to you. Let me know your solution. But this is my answer why I don't want to have kids. Follow me on Instagram at Zeekpeak. Like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, stay blessed, stay beautiful, and above all, stay classy.